Coming up next, I have an NEC AUT7000E. This is a component tuner from NEC's Authentic series. And like the amplifier that I showed previously, this has got pretty good build quality. Let's check it out. Okay, we'll power it up. Okay, let's tune something in that we can actually listen to here. There, we can listen to that. Muting will kill the sound.
The immediate family, but
you're the best. They come up. It for a cause, so it takes participants on. You know that I need you. 成为全球最大绿色债券发行方。
I'm just looking at the sensitivity here, the dial position.
Points. That's the power of Esla Mobile Plus. Star, Fire, and Flood. They serve the entire Sea to Sky corridor, so when emergencies happen without warning.
So a little bit off on the dial, a little bit high. We can fix that. 103.5 is coming up at around 103.7. What 88.1? Where is it?
Bringing the funny to the stage in Whistler tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a little bit high. And my test transmitter is on 87.5, and it's coming in around 87.7. So the dial's off a little bit, but the signal meter is not working. So let's see if we can get the signal meter to work on this thing. Okay, looking at the meter, it looks like it's probably a physical meter problem. When we look at the voltmeter, we'll see that we have 0.1 volts. And when I change the tuning, those drops down. So I don't know how many volts that meter requires, but it shouldn't need that many volts. I think we have the same problem as we had with the other one. If I tickle this with a bit of voltage, we'll see that the meter actually will move, you see? But it's sticking. So if I give it like 3 volts at no current at all, you can see that it has gone up to 4, and it's stuck there. So we have a stuck meter just like on the last one. So let's see if we can fix this one like I did on the last one. So I'm going to remove the front panel. I got to take off the tuning knob. Again, it's held in place by a screw. It'll be a 1.5 millimeter, so we'll just remove all the knobs. I'm going to remove the tuning knob here next, and then I can remove the front panel and gain access, and hopefully this meter will open up like the other one so that I can adjust it. And that's a 1.5 millimeter hex key to remove the tuning knob. Saved by the bell. Well, somebody I don't really want to talk to anyway. I get this guy that phones me up that I've known for years, but he wants to change some of his service with his internet provider or TV provider, the company that I actually work for. So he phones me because he doesn't want to go through the process of phoning in himself, and there's two screws on this one. So he doesn't want to phone in, and he phones me, wanting me to you know, do something for him. And I've tried explaining to him, I can't do it. You know, he wants equipment replaced, of course, free of charge, right? And I keep explaining to him, I can't do it. Uh-oh. I guess I better answer this. Okay, now I'm frustrated. People, I tell you. He says, well, you're my guy. You can set up an appointment for me. It's like, no, I can't set up an appointment for you. You have to call it in just like anybody else. Okay, here are the meters. These meters should come off this backing. I don't know how they're stuck on. They're probably glued on. I don't see anything. I don't see any screws holding it, but this is the one here I need to get at. Just stuck on with double-sided tape. Oh, look at that. It fell apart. The glue that holds this, that's probably why it's sticking. It's probably oh no, it's still sticking. So we can probably adjust this one the same way as the other one. And then I'll re-glue this back on because, as you can see, the glue is let go. But as you can see here, it is sticking. So let's try the fix that I did for the other one. Get the little precision screwdriver out and try adjusting the meter. This one doesn't want to turn. Looks like there's also a screw on the back. Let's try the one on the back, because the one on the front appears to be jammed. Okay. There we go. That's looking a little better. Okay, so there's one on the back on this one too as well, right? This meter's now working, so now I have to glue the, I gotta glue back in the back for it here. Actually, I probably don't have to glue it, but it would be nicer if I did. See if I put that in there like that. Now the meter, whoops. I guess once I glue it in place, it won't stick. I'm just going to use some regular white glue. This is stuff that Main Electronics used to sell. They called it glue number 2. But of course they're gone. They're out of business. The owner passed away, and the son didn't want anything to do with running a parts store. I can't imagine why he wouldn't want to run a parts store. I can't imagine for the world why somebody wouldn't want to be in the business. We'll just put some of this glue onto the back of this. Smear some glue on the back here. A little thin coat of glue, and put the meter back together. I think I was in that store the last day that they actually were in business. I was in that store, and what I was buying was some transistors, or a transistor, for that leak. Remember that leak receiver that I had, I guess 5 years ago, I guess. The leak receiver, incidentally, is owned by the same guy that owns this. And it had one blown channel. So, we'll see how this meter works. Turn on the power. Well, that part works. We're going to let the glue dry for a bit. Put the front cover on. somehow think this was supposed to be glued on as well, but the glue has failed. Looks like there was glue around the edge here. I'm going to let this glue set up for a bit, and then we'll glue the thing back together. There's one burned out dial lamp on this side, as you can see. These have like a green, almost like a green heat shrink that's been shrunk over it. These are standard, they're called cartridge lamps. They look like a fuse, but they're actually an incandescent bulb. Here, one on one side, two for the meters, and one over here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find one that's got the same color of filter on it, so I'm going to leave it. And it's easy enough to change. I got to do is pop the top off it to change the thing. But I'm going to leave this one at this particular point in time. Talk to the customer that owns it, see what he wants to do. It might be better to replace all four of them just with clear, but then of course they'll lose that green tint, because I don't know where you're going to find the green tint unless this can be cut off. You might be able to cut this off of the bulb and put it on another bulb. That might be an option. Let's just see whether it'll come off of here. I bet you if I cut this with a scalpel or something, it might come off. Then again, it might not. But so I might be able to peel this off, you see, and put it onto another bulb. Try and maintain the color. That might be an option. I don't have a bulb like this, but I think they're probably available. They used to be a dime a dozen, but again, so many things are becoming obsolete that it gets harder and harder to get anything. And yeah, I mean, yeah, you could upgrade it to an LED or downgrade it, as some audiophiles would say. There's lots of people that do not like upgrading LEDs or upgrading lights to LEDs because they feel that they don't look the same as the original lamp did. Okay, I'm gonna let this thing dry, and then we'll put this meter back together and reassemble the unit, and then we'll check out the calibration of the dial and so forth. I'm gonna put the meter back together and just put some tape around the edges of it to hold it together. So there's the meter back together. I'm just gonna take some regular tape and just stick it across the top of the meter and on the back and down the sides. This will hold the meter together so it won't fall apart, and then we'll put some double-sided tape on the front of it here to stick the meter back in place, to hold it in place while we reassemble the front panel. Here's my double-sided tape. We'll just stick that across the front of the meter like that. Peel the backing off. And stick the meter back into the cabinet the way it came out. Well, I tried. Got to get it lined up. Got to get the meter lined up into the right place first before you push down the double-sided tape. Otherwise, it's going to stick. There we go. Meter's back in place. And now I can put the front panel back on. Just like that. Put a couple screws in to hold the front panel in place. Okay, the knob's back on. Gotta clean this AM/FM switch as well, as I heard a bit of noise on it when I was switching it before. So power knob, and the muting knob over here, and then finally the big tuning knob, which of course is held in place with the hex key. Excellent. I just noticed that this bulb is working now. It must have been just not in the holder correctly, because it wasn't working before, but it is now. Okay, the unit's back together. We're going to check the calibration of the FM tuning to make sure it's the dial is in the correct position. Our trimmer for the frequency is right here. This one right down there, a little trimmer cap. And what we can do on that is we can
overboard. Possible somebody could have fallen through the ice when they're transporting stuff in the winter. It's also possible
set our frequency
that, you know, it could have been a barrier
to our known frequency. Using the FM centering meter to center our frequency.
And the
And you typically want to do this adjustment in about the middle of the band, around 100 or 101, somewhere in there. You get your frequency centered on the, you know, about the middle of the band, and then it should track the band from one end to the other fairly close. So right now I've got it set up. It's pretty much dead center where it's supposed to be, and I'm just going to go through and verify that all of the other frequencies are where they are supposed to be on the dial. 101.1,
Talk to a
99.3, right on.
Solutions that don't fit every small business.
92.9. So now the pointer is right where it should be. 103.5 should be right here. There it is. 104.3. 4.7 should be in here somewhere. I don't have much of an antenna on here.
Full question, and I will get back to you with a detailed answer from Mr. Jones.
Come again.
early offering from the man.
105.7.
Presence and what seems like in
106.5. One on 92.9, 88.1, and of course my test signal. As you can see, the signal meter is now working. Of course, this one's going to be strong because the transmitter is just across the room from me here.
What you need to realize is that there's a between word processing and desktop publishing.
Looking good. Okay, let's try AM. We're here, 980. Yeah, that looks like 980 to me. How about 730? No problem. 650. 650? No, it's 600. I don't think 650 comes in. 1410, 1440, which is my test transmitter on AM. Same music. Still got to clean that switch.
Fair.
Let's clean the selector switch. There we go. Mono, stereo, AM. Okay, I guess that's about does it for this one. We can close this one back up and send it on its way. And if anybody's wondering what this song is, it's the artist, her name is Candace Burns. She's from Calgary, I believe, and that track came bundled with Video Studio. It was a royalty-free track from Video Studio, which I probably shouldn't even have playing as test music, because I got hit with a claim by one of their artists, and when I read the fine print, it says with their license, it says you're free to use this with anything that you want, except if you upload it to social media. So to say not all royalty-free licenses are the same, and that's why I typically just use Music Bakery's royalty-free content for everything, because their license allows use with social media. If we look down into the main board on this one, so this is our front end, our oscillator and tuner and so forth. IF, so it's a 2 IC solution. This one here is our decoder, and this one's our IF for both AM and FM. And these two low pass filters you see here, these are MPX filters, which are designed to cancel out any frequencies around above 15, I think it's 15 kilohertz is where they roll off, and that's so that the pilot signal from the FM stereo won't be output on the outputs, because that would cause interference on a lot of cassette decks of the day. The 19 kilohertz pilot tone, if it was to make it to the output, would beat with the bias oscillator and cause a mess, a lot of heterodyning and a lot of noise on the resulting analog recording. So that's why they have low pass filters. Some tuners, it was switchable, because if you weren't recording from it, it would limit the highest frequency. Although the transmitters also have a low pass filter. In the case of the transmitter, it's called a brick wall filter, which stops any frequencies beyond 15 kilohertz anyway, because frequencies beyond 15 kilohertz will beat with the 19 kilohertz pilot. So there's really no reason to not run MPX filters on a tuner. So I'll put the cover back on. As I say, this is a nice, clean, simple tuner. I mean, there's really not much to tuners, especially analog ones. When you think about it, they're nothing more than a basic transistor radio. That's all they are. When you think about it. Some tuners are a little bit more involved. Some of the synthesized tuners had a few more chips in them and so forth, but I still would pick an analog tuner any day over a digital tuner, synthesized tuner, I should say. As far as pulling in signals, most of these analog tuners will outperform most of the digital tuners. Not all. I mean, some of them had adjustable bandwidth and stuff like those. Some of those Techniques tuners were pretty good. But really, you really can't beat doing that to get across the band. Nice big heavy weighted tuning knob. Can't beat it. Just gotta spin back on the grab handles for the rack mount. A couple of extra screws. we go. Let's get one last look. I'll dim the lights so you can appreciate the display. There it is. In a dark room. That actually looks pretty good. Meters all lit up. Even display on the, or even lighting on the display, thanks to that light bulb deciding to start working. I think it was just, as I say, it just wanted to come out of the fuse holder basically. It mustn't have been making a good connection because obviously it's not burned out, it's working. Anyway, as you can see, the meter is working as it's expected. I got the muting turned on. If I turn the muting off, we'll hear all the stations in between. There we go. Even with no antenna on it, pulling in really weak signals.
Saint-Cunégonde, c'est tout près de Saint-Henri, c'est...
It's a station on the island.
Back in 1973. Here's Operator by request of Evening Breeze.
Whoa, CBC is playing rap. There we go. Anyway, this one's all done. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.